There's no need to panic. There's none of that. I am saying this, that as Arizona Athletics fans, basketball, baseball, football, we deserve Brian Jeffries as our play-by-play guy. As long as Brian Jeffries wants to do it, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. This is the best man in the industry by a mile. He is Tucson. Whenever he does retire, he should have a statue right next to Lute Olson. Sheer, this is something that as Arizona fans, we deserve, period, point blank, no ifs, ands, or buts. Reason I bring this up is obviously people have seen that Learfield, Arizona's moved on from him. That's the company that Brian was with. Right now, Brian does not have a job with does not have a job commentating these games. That could easily change at any point. But Arizona fans, it is Brian or bust when it comes to commentating there.
I've said this before, with satellite radio, I listen to a lot when I drive, and God knows how many miles I put in my car. I listen to other sports broadcasts and all that. And I'm not BSing when I tell you that Brian Jeffries is the best I've heard. Yes. Ben One White and I still remember, drove to USC or UCLA. I don't remember. What was that game we went to? Was it UCLA or USC? Yeah, I don't remember. Remember a couple years ago? And we listened to some broadcasters, and they were just horrific. Like, they didn't even know who was on the field. Brian is the best. And I'll always remember Brian away from announcing, and I've told you this, when Brielle got in her really scary bad car accident, Arizona was playing BYU in Vegas, and I showed up to the stadium way too early like I always do, and the only other person there was Brian Jeffries. He stopped what he was doing, walked down the hall, and the first thing he did was ask me about Brielle.
Yes.
And that's just the type of dude he was and is, and yeah, very, very important.
Now, Marcelo Martinez, you're incorrect about that. This is something, again, it's early. It can definitely happen, but this is definitely something that,
I think what's going on, to put it in perspective, is DRF is making a lot of moves. And I'm not saying they're bad or good. I don't know. Like, until I see the result, I don't.
Right.
And it was a major, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, it was a major move to fire Learfield. And I find it hard to believe that she doesn't have a plan in place. My guess, and this is just a guess, is that technically because Brian is unemployed right now, he doesn't really necessarily have an office or all that. And then when you make the decision to bring him back, which I assume that she will, then you kind of talk. But right now, there's kind of a limbo situation, and it's uncomfortable for people.
Right. Yeah, Marcelo Martinez, he says, I'll find the source. I think it was the Star. I don't need the source. I can go right. Yes, I don't need a source on that one. I'm telling you the way it is, with all due respect. But like I said, Brian Jeffries is the man. We are beyond lucky to have him. And let's be honest here, he plays perfectly with his color commentators as well. He and Lamont Lovett are absolutely fantastic together. He and Rhino are great together. He and Reggie are great together. And Brody Dryden, a good buddy of mine, is certainly an up-and-comer in the network. We deserve Brian Jeffries. I can't imagine anything without Brian Jeffries. We deserve. And again, I'm not saying do not start sending emails or anything like that. I just want to let people know that, right now things are still fluid, but the GOAT will always be backed on this show, period, point blank. He is the man. And just like you said, Sheer, he's a good dude. He has I brought Sheer and Ben out with us when we we got some dinner after a Pac-12 game with the GOAT, and he's just a funny guy. I mean, he's a funny dude. He's very enjoyable to be around. We very much like Brian Jeffries. So there is
Mike has such respect for Brian Jeffries. I would bet money that Mike would not pass gas in front of Brian Jeffries.
Never. No, I wouldn't. Nope, wouldn't. And we were in a gassy restaurant too.
Mike, it was like Chin Chin. What do you mean gassy restaurant?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, but it was good. And and the other thing too, yes, when I was going through all the stuff, with the 1290 and Rich, Brian was very, very good to me through all of that. So again, I will forever be indebted to Brian.